You've tuned in to the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
You realize what you've done?
With Rich Liebig.
A real gangster plays his cards right.
And Michael Costanzo.
What was that you just read?
Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news.
Good times, noodle salad.
The point is, you now have the ability to be happy.
And now, here's Rich and Mike on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Woo! Yeah! How you guys doing?
What's up, everybody?
It's time for this week's episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. We've got plenty of topics in the world of sports, entertainment, and odd news that we need to get to and share with you on this week's podcast. I am Rich Liebig.
And I am Michael Costanzo.
And we are here to give you the latest tidbits in sports, entertainment, and odd news. Plenty of news to go around. But before we get into all the news that's fit to print or fit to compress into a podcast, Mikey, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know what I was doing this weekend was catching up on literally every movie and entertainment thing from the past, month and a half. So I finished Mayor of Easttown.
Yes.
I watched Bo Burnham's special Inside,
Yes.
which we'll get to a little bit later. I watched Luca on Disney+.
Nice.
And I went to a movie theater for the
Oh,
first
yeah,
time
you
in a year and a half.
Physically went to a movie theater.
Went to a movie theater to see Quiet Place 2
Nice.
with the girlfriend. And you know what? Going to the movies was one of the things I always loved doing. I like the theater. Some people don't like the theaters. I enjoy going to the movie theater, seeing it on the big screen, having that sound blasting. You feel it thumping in your chest. The smell of the popcorn, and just having that full immersive experience,
Right. So that's something that's very hard to duplicate at home is that
Right.
Immersion that when you're there to watch the movie, period. There's no other distractions.
Right.
Hopefully. I mean,
Well,
there may
yeah.
be, something happening with other patrons.
And here's the thing with this transitioning pandemic world is that, Quiet Place 2 came out maybe 2 weeks ago. We were 2 of maybe 8 people in the theater.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, but coming out of the theater itself into the hallway, just deserted.
Yeah.
The bathrooms were empty. Everything was clean. I was like, you know what?
Maybe this is the way to go.
I mean, you know what? Let's keep it 50% capacity. I can dig this. But no, going back to the movies was fun. I love going to the movies. Quiet Place 2 is a great one to get back to the movie store because it's the type of movie that really benefits, being seen on the big screen. Like I talked about a few weeks ago in my preview of it for This Week in Entertainment. It's a movie that plays with sound because the main character is deaf. So you have moments where, you have your jump scares with the big stinger, with the sting sound effect. And then you have moments of complete silence that really builds that tension and suspense. And the movie is so short. It's only an hour and a half, which is odd for big, set piece.
Yeah, big theatrical
movies.
release.
Yeah. So you always feel like you're just being dragged along. You can't get comfortable because it's moving at such a fast pace, right? Which again ups the tension, ups the suspense. It's really, really exciting. It's a roller coaster of a movie. Downside is because it's so fast, you don't really get to sit with many of the characters for too long. If you haven't seen the first one and you're just jumping into the second movie, one, I wouldn't recommend it. And 2, you're going to feel a little lost because they don't do a lot of character moments because it's so busy from, one set piece moment to the next to the next. So it's like a roller coaster, but it's a very shallow roller coaster. But if you're looking for a fun time, Quiet Place 2 will keep you on the edge of your seat, keep you gripping the armrests, and it's going to make you jump out of your seat a few times, playing with the sound, playing with the oppressiveness of the silence, and just keeping it going. I mean, it's just breakneck pace. It was a good movie. It was a very enjoyable time. But the theater, it was fun to get back to.
Yes.
And I love that there's no crowds. I'm going to try and see as many movies in theaters as possible right now before the general public return to the theaters.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a window up until the Black Widow movie comes out. I think
that's gonna be the domino that kicks it off.
Yeah, when Black Widow comes out into theaters, I think that's when the movie theaters are going to kick up and running again.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm planning to go see it.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be like the first spark that drives the engine back
to
the theaters.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, that's coming soon. So you better enjoy it if you want to have those 50% capacity movie theaters right now.
Absolutely. Go see Quiet Place 2 while it's completely empty. Tons of movie times to choose from because it's literally one of the only movies out right now.
Yeah.
But that's what I was doing. Rich, what have you been up to?
So I guess to counter your experience, I did watch a new movie, but I watched it in the comfort of my own home.
Hey, that's always good too.
And I watched The Conjuring 3. The devil made me do it.
Oh God, that sounds awful. Why would you do that?
Because I love the franchise.
Man, I cannot.
Do.
No.
I knew this would be something that you couldn't handle.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Look,
that's fine.
I don't do alien abduction. I don't do possession.
Yeah,
those are my two big don'ts. But
you're like Ryan Bergara on on BuzzFeed Unsolved.
I feel Ryan, man. I feel him.
You do not want to do anything with demons.
No, demon.
Yeah, demon. You want to do anything with the demons?
Demons! Demons!
Oh my God.
Demons, you cowards!
There you go.
Demon?
Stop calling it that.
Demon!
Stop it. Stop talking to it.
No, I just want to talk to the demons.
There you go. So
but you're Shane.
I am.
And how did you enjoy The Conjuring?
I enjoy it. I think it's a great movie. A solid movie. Let me rephrase that. Conjuring is the movie. Go see Conjuring if you haven't seen Conjuring. I think that's probably the best modern supernatural horror movie that they've made. Like, it has some jump scares and things that obviously will get any audience, but it has a decent plot. The things make sense in the universe. I really like the Ed and Warren characters, the fictionalized versions of Ed and Lorraine Warren. So I think it works well for this universe that they've created, which, by the way, did you know this? The Conjuring movie universe is now the second most successful movie universe post Marvel.
Really?
Yeah. Take that, monster universal monster dark universe BS.
So wait, you're saying after Marvel started its cinematic universe?
Correct.
The Conjuring
is the second most successful.
So you mean the first after Marvel or second compared to...
I think the first, technically, you have to give it to... I think first, technically, you have to give it to the Disney Star Wars era.
Does that count as a universe?
Yeah, see, I guess it does because Disney kind of...
They made it a universe.
They bought... Because they had their break. Remember, Disney said that, like, from here on in, this is our story.
Right, because they have their own expanded universe stuff with Solo and...
Right, so technically that counts...
Oh, okay. All right.
But next at number 2 is The Conjuring.
I'll say this. I think it's more impressive, The Conjuring, than Star Wars because it's completely original.
Yeah.
Star Wars was an existing property that they expanded. The Conjuring is, its own thing.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive.
Right. So it started in 2013 post Marvel.
Right.
And now it's up to 3 major films. The Annabelle spinoffs, which that's 3 films. And now the Nun movies, that's 2 movies. So, yeah, and La Llorona, too. I forgot about La Llorona. So it's like its own franchise.
So it's better than the DC movies.
It may be, yeah.
It's certainly better than the monster, like you said, the monster movies, because they didn't even make it.
So when I told this fact to Rachel was like...
That's really surprising.
Yeah, Rachel had the same kind of response, like, is that really like a thing? And I'm like, yeah.
There's a lot of universes.
Think about all of the movie studios that have tried to replicate what Marvel has done. They can't.
Yeah.
They really cannot. It is very difficult to create a universe and have it stick and kind of have it
and have a following too.
Yeah.
And have a following that like warrants movies, because the Monsters one failed because nobody
liked
wanted to engage with them. DC failed because they're just terrible.
Yeah.
Star Wars, I wouldn't say fails, but it's an existing.
The last couple ones failed.
The last couple of ones failed, and it's an existing franchise. So like The Conjuring is, like you said, a success story in that regard.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
It's standing strong.
Yeah.
So if you started at the beginning of this conversation thinking The Conjuring, oh, that's a silly movie or not worth my time, I would beg to reconsider your argument because they are very good. At least
now I got to watch The Conjuring is what you're telling me.
At least the three main ones. I really do like Patrick Wilson and I forget who is Lorraine Warren now. I can see her face. Vera Figueroa. I forget her name now. Anyway, the point is they're really good as Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Okay.
I love the fact that they're based on their cases, but they obviously take a lot of liberties to make it more horrifying for the audiences. I don't mind the possession story. Mike does, so I can see why you'll never watch it.
Where does it stand in terms of, have you seen Hereditary?
Hereditary, no.
But okay, never mind then.
No.
That's a creepy movie that vaguely dealt with possession. And I was able to make it through that, but
yeah.
I see. Here's the thing: I enjoy scary movies when I watch them, but it's getting over that initial hurdle. And I'm like, and then afterwards, or I'm just like sitting there thinking about it constantly.
That it could happen.
That's the big problem. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it. I can watch it and be like, okay, good night. I did.
You're like watching it at midnight. You're like, all right, time to tuck in, and
I did. I watched it.
God.
I watched it at like 11 p.m. Had a good time, and then I went to sleep. I was fine.
You woke up and chose violence. Why would you watch it right before bed?
I don't know. I was fine. I just went to bed. I was nice and tired. I was fine.
That's just as risky as eating a cheesesteak right before bed.
Hey, sometimes you got to have a cheesesteak before bed. That cures hangovers. I've done that before.
Oh, good late night cheesesteak goes perfectly with late night Conjuring.
The greasy cheesesteak and bread will absorb the alcohol. It will save you a hangover in the morning.
That sounds like science to me.
I don't know if it is, but I just made it up. So we're making things up here. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, that's a good transition. Just like sports. Sports, you got to make things up too. So let's
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, sports are just games, but in our hearts and our discussions, they mean much more. So we are making things up to a degree. So let's launch into sports topics with the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports.
In your face. Sports coming at you in your face. And we're going to hit a couple topics in 2 minutes or less with the 2-minute drill. You ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
All right. There you go. Clock is on. What do you have?
All right. This week in the 2-minute drill, what would a 2-minute drill be, Rich, without Aaron Rodgers? That's right. The quarterback controversy continues in Green Bay. But this time there's a little bit of a twist. Apparently, breaking news here, Aaron Rodgers renews his membership at the Green Bay Country Club. Oh
my God!
The tabloids, Rich, are...
Stop the presses!
So, one, why did you put this in the rundown? And two, what is it about?
I love the fact that news outlets were considering this like a top priority story. Folks, it's not. All right, Aaron Rodgers has so much money, he can join almost any golf club on a whim, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is not a sign that he's coming back to Green Bay whatsoever.
When you have tens of millions of dollars, why not just have memberships to literally all of them?
You can. Pat McAfee pretty much does. So you're good.
And McAfee has much less money than Aaron Rodgers, I would assume.
Yeah, so this is not a story. Don't get it confused. Move on.
Well, you know what is a story, though, is this next one here. This is actually really important, guys. Las Vegas Raiders defensive end Carl Nassib, local fame, he comes from Westchester, announces that he is gay and has therefore become the first active and openly gay NFL player. This is a huge thing. I mean...
Just to clarify, it's not Michael Sam because he never actually played a season game.
Right. So this is somebody who's actively played in the NFL, and that's, it's a big first step. Honestly, I had forgotten that there wasn't any active, openly gay NFL players.
Yeah.
But he came out in a big way, post on Instagram, donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project.
Big charity event for him.
Yeah,
Great job.
Yeah. And getting widespread praise for it.
Everybody's been coming out and supporting him. It's great to see on the social media and with the NFL community. All right, so there you go. We tackled a couple topics in 2 minutes or less. But, yeah, definitely a feel-good story there to wrap up the 2-minute drill on.
Yeah, definitely go check out the video on Instagram. It was a nice message that he had. And, hopefully it's the first of many to come. And he said hopefully these types of announcements won't be giant news stories, that it will just be, people will feel comfortable enough to just accept it and it to be a regular everyday occurrence. So,
Yeah.
hopefully trendsetter there with Carl Nassib of the Raiders.
Yep, great feel-good story. Congratulations, and we support Nassib of the Raiders. And from local Westchester, too. Local celebrity, too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yep. Okay, now moving on to more sports news. I know we're covering all the bases here today. We started out with football and 2-minute drill.
Speaking of bases, Rich.
Yeah, we got to talk about a little bit of baseball here because the pitchers are striking back. We've now had this for the last 3 out of the 4 weeks here on the Crispy Noodle podcast, talking about illegal substances on the ball coming from pitchers. Well, a few pitchers, led by Tampa Bay Rays ace Tyler Glasnow, are now complaining. So now the pitchers.
Duh. Why wouldn't they complain?
Now the pitchers are up in arms. I
said this was going to be a disaster.
Well, boy, you're spot on here. Because now they're saying it's not fair to change the rules during the middle of the season. And Glasnow is going one step further. Initially, he said that it was not a good move. He says that he only uses sunscreen and rosin, which both are legal, which is interesting. An interesting little twist here.
This is what I don't understand. It's legal to use those substances on the ball or in general?
Both. Because, I mean, literally, you would have to stop the player in the middle of the game if you're going to, if they're going to go full tilt on this and say, we don't want any substance on the ball, the umpire is going to have to stop the play and say, hey, I see you putting stuff on the ball. Stop the play. Is that really going to happen? Well,
I think MLB wants it to, but
right now it may with all the new rules that MLB's throwing at them. So Glasnow claims that in his first game that he pitched without his trusty sunscreen and rosin, he claims he had to change his pitching throw. He specifically mentioned that he had to grip the ball harder to achieve some of the same consistency that he had before. As a result, he claimed that he got hurt from doing so.
Okay.
The twist, the Rays confirmed last week that Glasnow has suffered a UCL tear in his elbow, that's a ligament. That's
a big one for pitchers.
Yeah, and he could face Tommy John surgery.
That's a big one.
So now we're talking about legit pitchers getting hurt because of this new sheriff policy that the MLB wants the umpires to start whenever they suspect illegal substances are being used. Mike,
this is an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, you called that this was going to be troublesome.
Yeah.
Did you see it going this bad?
I didn't see it going this bad. I thought honestly, I thought baseball fans are going to be a little bit more annoyed at the whole thing, and I thought the umpires and the game crew wouldn't want to follow through with it. I didn't expect the pitchers to start getting injured.
Yeah.
Now let's take each of these claims one at a time. So, a change to the rules during the middle of the season. I actually agree on that point. The NFL always waits, until the off season to enact changes. I think the MLB probably should have waited as well. That I will concede.
Yeah.
I think if MLB wants to make a rule change, that's fine. Making a sweeping rule change this large.
Yeah,
I think
this far into the season.
I think that's an off-season move if it's going to be that sweeping, right? The second point here, sunscreen and rosin, both legal. That's really interesting because when we conversed over text last week about this, and when you said this to me, in the back of my mind, I thought it's not far off from historically what players have done in various sports with balls.
Yeah.
In football, it's widely known that quarterbacks would, rub some dirt on the ball and rough it up a little bit to get a little bit more grip on it, when they're throwing. And baseball players as well. Same concept. They break in the balls a little bit.
Yep.
Right? So it's not unheard of to manipulate the playing ball. I don't know if sunscreen and rosin, fall into that as well. It's a little bit more surgical. It's a little bit more intentional than just roughing it up a little bit. But I found that interesting. So there's an argument that it should actually be legal if you want to look at it that way. Otherwise, you should also ban breaking in the balls and rubbing dirt and sand on them.
Right. It's like, how far do you go? What is the line here?
Right, exactly. Because, I hadn't considered that the first time we talked about this. Like, it is kind of like stealing signals. It's accepted practice to a degree, So it's either kind of like all or nothing. You know what I mean? You can't But anyway, I thought that was interesting. And then for the last point that he got injured, that I don't know. I don't think that one necessarily leads to the other, because has he always pitched with sunscreen and rosin?
According to this interview that he gave, yes, he said the whole time he's always
not his entire baseball career.
Yeah.
Little league, high school, college, pros, double A, triple A.
Yeah, let's assume college and on. Let's go that far.
All right. I mean, I'll have to accept it at face value, but
because here's something I think you need to give a little bit of leeway here is if this is true, then it does make sense.
I guess
because
it does, yeah.
you're gripping
your grip.
You're gripping the ball so hard.
Right.
And you're talking about a guy who's throwing 100 miles per hour.
I guess
you gotta, whipping his arm.
Torque, you got to torque harder now to get the same.
And he's doing this now for what, 80, 90, possibly 100 pitches a game?
Yeah.
That sounds to me like something where you're swinging the elbow across, trying to get that same velocity that you used to before,
right?
And maybe trying so hard that you pop out your ligament or you damage your ligament. Because you're doing it so much.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe to get a certain break on the ball now, maybe he's got to...
You're putting a lot of pressure.
Right.
Pitchers put a lot of pressure.
On that elbow. I mean, you're whipping your arm. I mean, because when you think about the mechanics of a throw, you're basically like cracking a whip with your arm.
Right.
You're flicking it like that, and you're right, to do that and then to change how hard you're gripping and maybe how hard you're torquing, because now, it's leaving your hand differently.
Yeah.
So you got to throw harder or throw it differently. So...
and that this happened so quick. I mean, literally,
it's just hard to prove that the lack of it caused it.
How about this? Why didn't they do this change like at the All-Star break? Something where there could have been...
Where there's time. That I agree with.
Something where there could have been some sort of time to adjust and work with trainers to figure...
Exactly. That's where I agree with Glasnow, where it should have been an off-season change, because it's a sweeping change. It's not like when a team...
Glasnow literally went from one game using everything that he had done, his regular routine, to then in 4 days or 5 days being asked, hey, you got to do this without your stuff.
Right. Yeah. And yes.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that he suffered a UCL tear. That sounds like something that would happen from changing up your grip and your strength of holding the ball suddenly,
I'm still hesitant to say that it specifically caused it, but I could see the case that, I mean, he can easily run with that narrative. And if other pitchers start to get hurt, then MLB's got a big problem. No, they don't have a big problem. They just delay the rule change. I still think it's weird.
They already got big problems. I mean,
this is the thing. You don't change a major rule in the middle of the season. Yeah. I absolutely agree there. They should have waited to the offseason. The NFL always waits the offseason. The NFL, they don't change rules in the middle of the season. They might write memos and reminders, be like, "Hey, make sure you're enforcing this thing."
Yeah.
But they're not like one day they're like, "Oh, field goals are now
5 points."
5 points. Yeah. Like there's no insanity like that.
Yeah.
They're completely changing things. It should have. You're right. At least I don't think the All-Star break. You said the All-Star break. I think that it should have waited till the offseason, and just this season is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, baseball is still in a world of hurt. They thought maybe the banning of these substances would solve the problem. I don't think so. And now just everybody's complaining at this point. Batters are complaining that they're not hitting like they used to. Pitchers are now complaining they're getting hurt.
We talked about how it was going to be a problem. We mentioned it. If only MLB listened to the podcast. I don't know why they don't.
Yep.
We're so smart and always spot on. Never say anything wrong or weird.
Yep. So there you go. Baseball is going to be dealing with this for some time. Also, another team that's going to be dealing with problems for some time is our Philadelphia 76ers. Oh, God, I don't even want to talk about this, but we have to because the Sixers got upset by the Atlanta Hawks.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Oh, no! We suck again!
Yep, the 76ers,
They were the number one seed.
the
right?
number one seed, the best record in the Eastern Conference, having Joel Embiid, Danny Green, just a whole bunch of talent, and they still cannot get out of the second round of the NBA playoffs. The Sixers upset by the Atlanta Hawks in a full 7-game series. But, man, this did not feel at all good if you were a Philadelphia fan. The first major misstep was losing the first game, in my opinion, because you had Triple H there. How dare you lose a game with Triple H in your building? But that's my personal thing. How dare you? But then the worst blow came in Game 5, the pivotal Game 5. The Sixers were up by 20 points in the fourth quarter, and they blow it to the Atlanta Hawks, losing critical Game 5. They fought back in Game 6 to force a Game 7, which happened Sunday night, and I watched all of it, and I regret my decision because
there's a lot of controversy.
That game was horrible to watch. And before I start off with the Ben Simmons hate, I'm going to go on a quote that that Magic Johnson said on one of the morning shows recently. And I think this is a very good point for any sport. And that is, when you get to the playoffs, whether it's basketball, NFL, whatever, when it gets to the playoffs, whatever your weakness is will be exploited.
Right.
Period. That's just how competition
you're playing
works.
with top talent. Yeah.
Right. You can't expect the opposition to go easier on you. Maybe
Right.
during the season. Things can happen during, it's a long season. Things happen. You get swayed back and forth. Maybe you don't show up,
Right.
Things
right.
can happen during the season. In playoffs, whatever your weakness is, you will get exploited, period. That's a fact of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ben Simmons was exposed, period. And I can't forgive him for this. We've been told multiple times that he has been he can't form a decent jump shot to save his life. And now we're getting to the point in his career that he can't shoot already. He's only 25 years old, and already he's getting the yips that he can't shoot a ball. And the game is basketball, so this is a pretty mandatory skill.
I don't understand how he's made it this far not being able to shoot.
Yes. There's all right. It's one thing if you can't shoot. All right. We knew these problems going into the legacy of Ben Simmons in his career.
Right.
We are now getting to the point where teams know this, and they make this part of the strategy.
Right.
Literally the Hawks.
That's good strategy right there.
Literally the Hawks in this game.
Yeah.
Or in actually this whole series. Whenever Simmons was on the court, they either didn't defend him
Jesus.
because they knew he wouldn't go up for a shot, or they would try and foul him because they knew he couldn't sink his foul shots.
Jesus.
His free throw shots.
If you're the Sixers, you just pull him. You just sit him.
But Doc Rivers left him in there, and I have no idea why. And to me, I know you want to still put confidence in him, and I know you don't want to abandon your star player, but Game 7, I tweeted this on my Twitter feed if you want to check out the video. He has a play where he gets past two defenders, and he has a clear shot to dunk the ball. Does not even shoot the ball. Dunk it. Just go up, put the ball in the basket. Put her in the basket, Chief. Literally, one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Be the Indian. Put her in the basket, Chief. That's all you had to do. And instead, he's worried mentally that he's going to get fouled and he's going to have to go to the foul line, that he throws the ball out to another player and that person gets fouled and he gets the foul shots. But the point is, you're leaving 2 points on the board and showing the Philadelphia audience that you're scared to take a shot.
Yeah.
That is unforgivable. I would have pulled him right then and there. That to me crosses the line. I love to give I would love to give Philadelphia players a second chance. I would love to believe that maybe if, they had a better mindset, or maybe if Joel Embiid didn't get hurt going into this first game of this series, or maybe if they still had Danny Green, maybe that would have taken off some pressure off them. But at the end of the day, Ben Simmons was scared to throw down. You cannot be paying a player like that $30 million, and he doesn't have the confidence to slam it home. That is embarrassing. And I think that will signify the end of his career in Philadelphia. That is embarrassing. I can't imagine him. What's he going to do? What's he going to do in 2022 season? Is he really going to come out the first game at home? You think the 76ers crowd is going to be behind him? You've shown us that you're scared to finish off the job.
Right. The fans.
Don't be scared. In Philadelphia, out of all places, too, by the way, we would have respected you more if you at least tried.
If you had gone up and got knocked down instead of not even trying. But here's the thing I don't understand, because he's made 3 NBA All-Star teams. He won Rookie of the Year, all rookie first team. He has all these accolades, right? What happened?
What happened, I think, is the Hawks decided to pinpoint his weakness. Ben Simmons, he kind of...
But do you just get rid of a 3-time All-Star?
You may have to. And it may hurt. It may be like a Carson Wentz deal. Like, you just got to rip the Band-Aid off. Because the way his mindset is right now, he's not going to make it in Philadelphia. You can't be afraid to be the superstar in Philadelphia.
So the reason I'm asking is because, obviously I'm much closer to football than basketball. So my lens for football is very biased. But my lens for basketball, I like to think is a bit more unbiased. I'm basically like, a third-party observer. Mm-hmm. Is this knee-jerk reactionary, traditional Philadelphia, take everything too seriously, take everything too personally?
There may be elements of that, but I can't forgive him. That you've got to finish that drive. You are wide open for a slam dunk. I mean, at least go up and just, if you get a foul, so be it. Right. But he willingly, panicked and got rid of it. There's a YouTube video out there right now, and I also tweeted this if you want to check it out, of a guy who no matter what, in a pickup game, it was a sketch comedy. Whenever he's in a pickup game, he just throws the ball away. Just, like he's so scared to have the ball. Give it back to you. That's Ben Simmons. I hate to say it. That's Ben Simmons, essentially in a nutshell. It's more exaggerated and more extreme.
Yeah.
But that's Ben Simmons. By the time we got to Game 7, he was afraid.
So I'll say
he did not want to go anywhere near the foul line. He did not want to take free throws. He did not want to take a shot. He didn't want to be the one that he basically turned into the opposite of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, at least, I would rather, Michael Jordan always said, there were games, there were 20 times in my NBA career that I was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I failed. But guess what? He took the shot.
Right.
You got to. If you're getting paid
what is
30...
it? Wayne Gretzky says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes, literally. Michael Scott. Yeah, appropriate.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So
you have to be willing to take you are being paid superstar money. $30 million a year.
I'll say this in support of your argument, because in the 2021 playoffs, he's shooting about, what is this, 250 below his season average for free throws.
Yes, so free throws.
Free throws during the regular season, 600.
You're burying the lead. The free throws. He has the worst career percentage of the worst free throw career percentage of anybody in the modern era of the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the stats here. Regular season, it's 600, and playoffs, it's 340.
That's the worst ever.
That is a huge drop off. That's not a couple of percentage points. That's like like 250
by a starter. That is the worst free throw percentage ever in playoff history.
He also had a drop off of points per game. He had a drop off in lots of different statistics. Oddly enough, he had one of his best years in terms of regular field goal percentage. So I don't understand why he
wasn't taking shots.
Well, but what I'm saying is I don't understand his hesitancy because it seemed like he was doing okay. So maybe, there is a mental block there.
There's something.
And sometimes when players develop that mental block, they become incapable of actually, living up to that potential.
There's something there, and the Atlanta Hawks took advantage of it over and over and over and over again, and that was one of the reasons why they got upset by the Hawks. In this series?
Do you think it's a weakness in his game or a weakness in it? Well, hold on. Or do you think it's a weakness in his? I don't want to say his mental state, but do you think it's a mental block, sort of like Carson Wentz last season?
I think it's both.
You think it's a fundamental flaw in his game, and now he also has developed this mental block?
It's both.
They feed each other.
Yeah, and the fact that the Hawks kept picking on it, he had no answer, and neither did Doc Rivers either, which I'm surprised at. If I was Doc Rivers, I'd pull him.
You have a pretty stacked team, from what I understand. So you got to.
If a player like that isn't producing points for you, put him on the bench. You got to switch. You got to switch it up. Give somebody else a shot.
Yeah,
he's not taking the shot. Give it to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So this could be painful because we don't know what's going to happen. If you try and trade Ben Simmons now, his trade value is sunk. So you're not going to get a good player for him. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution is to this, but it's going to be a long off season. Doc Rivers, for him only being with the team for one season, his coaching ability is already being thrown into question. Joel Embiid, he's the only bright light on this team, but he gets hurt. It feels like we're back to square one almost. I mean, I know that there are some other teams that have truly no star talent on their team, but this Sixers team was expected to at least make the conference finals and challenge the Nets or one of the top teams. They should have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Look, I said this years ago. You can dig up the tape. I said that the problem with the Sixers is that when you have a process like trust the process, it develops a losing mindset where players don't know how to do those things to win those games. And I think this might be further repercussions of that. All these young players came up in a system that was like, they're supposed to be bad. And they're supposed to, tank in order to get more and more talent. But in the process of doing that, they don't learn that grit and that tenacity of going up to take that shot.
Well, definitely Ben Simmons doesn't have it. Embiid does. Embiid will
But
he's got passion, but Simmons doesn't.
I mean, passion, yes, but how many years in a row have they been expected to go deep and they get embarrassed in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Regardless of seeding. I think there's something fundamentally wrong with this team where they just, regardless of regular season record, they don't have that X factor.
Yep. So, unfortunately, it's going to be another long off season for Sixers fans and ultimately Philadelphia fans because this I don't know where the Sixers go from here. I honestly don't. So, we'll see how they rebound in the 2021-2022 season. All right, how about we get to some more positive news, and instead we're going to go to the wonderful world of golf.
Okay.
Yay!
All right. So I can take a nap now, right?
Oh, good for you.
So I do want to talk about this real briefly and real quick. The U.S. Open, the third major of the golf year, happened this past weekend for Father's Day. And shout out to Jon Rahm. He won the U.S. Open this weekend, delivering an epic round on Sunday. He finished his round with birdie, which the crowd went crazy for. Interestingly enough, he was not on the final group, so it was one of those awkward moments that he finished his round, and then the person that was leading going into Sunday faltered, and he awkwardly had to finish up his round knowing that he lost to Jon Rahm.
That sucks.
Yep, but hey, that's the way it goes. And Rahm, he's got a great story here because I was going to talk about this a couple weeks ago, but we ran out of time in the sports sampler. But a couple weeks ago, he was in the middle of a record run at a tournament. And I think he was 6 under or something by the end of Friday.
Wow.
Like insane. Like he was on a blistering pace. And then coming off of the round on Friday, he was informed by the PGA officials that he had tested positive for COVID and was instantly disqualified.
Whoops.
Yeah. So it was just a heartbreaking story to hear that he was such on a record pace in that weekend's tournament.
Right.
And he was forced to be disqualified. He couldn't compete. It's just the way the COVID rules are. You get a positive test, that's it. You're not playing. So for Jon Rahm to have that happen to him and then rebound at the US Open for his first career major that's a story on its own.
Yeah.
That's just a great story to hear.
It's a great comeback right there.
Yep. And also, the win at the U.S. Open catapults him to being the new world's #1 golfer. So, congratulations. He really cleaned up well this weekend.
Yeah, wow. That's, he goes from being disqualified to winning a tournament, being skyrocketed up the position rankings.
Yeah.
Everything's coming up Jon Rahm.
Yeah, it's kind of like karma, no. It's like it's just pure work mentality. He was driven to be successful, and he wasn't going to let a positive COVID test define where he's going to be among the PGA Tour.
It's impressive that he beat it and came back and was still able to compete at such a high level.
Yes, that too. Yeah, I mean, that's not guaranteed.
Right, exactly.
So, definitely a great story to end Father's Day on, and shout out to Jon Rahm. He is now the world's #1 golfer and the defending U.S. Open champion. So we'll see how well he does. The last Open is in July, the British Open. So that is it. That's the last one, and then I can't talk about golf anymore.
That sucks.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate that you secretly smile. I knew that was coming.
No, here's the thing. I feel
no.
bad that you don't get to talk about golf, but also
You're like the Dateline guy. Oh, how terrible.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, you're literally the Dateline guy. But there you go. So if you're with Mike, I only have one more time to talk about golf this year. So
well, hopefully it's a good one because I like the fact that you enjoy it, and it's always sad when your favorite sport ends. So
yeah, so July will be the British Open, and that will be it for golf. But for right now, that will be it for sports. A lot of sports news we had to get to. So it was a lot. So we're gonna take a break. But coming up next, we'll have a side dish, the entertainment entree, and then the non-fortune cookie odd news. So we still have plenty of shows still to come. We'll be right back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We're going to talk about 22-year-old Matthew Kyle Letham, and he decided to call police at 4:45 in the morning because he couldn't find a ride home after the bar at 4:45 in the morning. That is not the actual oddity of this story. Police encountered Matthew Letham on the scene, and that's when they noted that this dude actually has a tattoo of the state of Florida in between his 2 eyebrows.
Oh my God.
Yes, and I have his mugshot. So here we go.
He's literally Florida Man.
Yes.
He's like a superhero Florida Man, and that is like his logo.
He is Mr. Florida Man. So
I mean, it's the most harmless Florida story we've ever had.
Yeah, except for the fact that that dude has a tattoo
stupid.
that will last the rest of his life that he cannot hide.
You cannot undo that. Every job interview he goes to, the very first thing they're going to see and question is the Florida tattoo. Yeah.
It's literally like, can I touch it? Like, it's right there.
You know the scene in Austin Powers Goldmember? The guy who has the mole?
Yeah.
Moly, 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 moly. Yeah. It is that, except with Florida on his forehead. Is anybody more proud of their home state than that guy?
Nope. Can't say it. I can't see. Nope. I can't think of anybody else.
No, nope. I love Pennsylvania, but not that much.
No, I do not want. Pennsylvania is a big state too. I do not want that on my forehead.
It's very square or rectangular. It would, yeah. What's the weirdest state to get tattooed to a forehead? I think. What do you think would be the weirdest one? I mean, I think Florida because the way it's shaped.
Florida's pretty weird. California would be weird because it's
very long,
and then it juts out.
No, Michigan.
Ooh, yeah. Because they got
Michigan.
all those like Great Lakes and stuff.
Yeah, and it's split in half.
Ugh, yeah, that would not be good.
That'd be a weird one.
Yeah.
Alaska. Oh, Oklahoma. I was going to say Alaska.
Oklahoma, you have to get the box, and then you have to get that little dinky panhandle that goes the other half of your head.
You're literally making yourself a unibrow, and then like it has like a little hat on it.
Yeah. Ew.
What about Alaska? You have that whole chain of islands coming off the side. It's going to like go around the side of your head almost.
Yeah.
This is the dumbest conversation we've ever had. In 8 years of podcast, I think it's safe to say that talking about the weirdest state to tattoo to your forehead, probably the dumbest thing we've ever talked about.
It's 2021, man.
And we were like actually analyzing. You're like, oh yeah, and the islands, and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. There's something fundamentally broken with us, Rich, in 2021.
It's 2021. Nothing makes sense anymore. It's
the
that
pandemic.
simple.
The pandemic's gone on too long, Rich. We've hit a breaking point.
Yeah. All right.
Next week we're both going to show up with states tattooed to our foreheads.
Dear God.
Yeah, we're back here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We had a lot of sports news, so we had to take a little bit of a break. But I think the break's going to be well worth it. We're going to try some tasty snacks here in a little bit. Mike, so what? This is week number 3 that we've been doing snacks?
This is week number 3 that we're doing snacks. I like it. I like trying weird snacks from all over. And it's kind of a fun little gimmick we have here.
Yeah, this is like our actual side dish because we're having a side dish in the middle of our side dish.
Look, I either bring the snacks on the podcast or I eat them by myself. So,
so might as well share the love.
Sharing the love.
All right, so without further ado, let's officially announce it. We're going into a side dish. Yep, there you go. Wacky sound effect has been issued. So
that's right.
That is the alert. We're going into the side dish.
And this week for the side dish, we are still eating snacks from South Korea from my Universal Yums box. We have 2 snacks. Again, this week we have crunchy pepero.
Pepero.
They are cocoa dipped biscuit sticks.
Sounds like pepero sounds like Pepto-Bismol or something. Like, ooh, I got to try some pepero. Ooh.
So South Korea has a pepero day.
Oh, pepero day.
And this says it's just as special as Valentine's Day. The holiday entails friends and family exchanging the decadent sticks to show their love and appreciation for each other. Oh, wow. I did not know that before we decided to feature this on the podcast.
So
Rich, I appreciate you.
So this is for like Valentine's Day, you said?
No, it's different. It's November 11th. It's different than Valentine's Day, but it's similar in that it's showing other people your appreciation for each other. So this is
And what's it called again?
a crunchy pepero stick. It's a cocoa dipped biscuit stick.
Biscuit stick?
Interesting.
That
It's
sounds like an insult. You biscuit stick.
You biscuit stick.
Had enough of your antics, you biscuit stick.
I like it. It's like a little chocolate lightsaber, like a little sword. We're so weird. We're like children. All right.
This is what
People
happens.
already knew that, though. If you're watching the show and you're like, these guys are weird, where have you been?
Yeah, this is why we do the show.
Yeah.
And we record it for everyone to
So,
watch.
should we eat our crunchy pepero sticks?
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
Pepero stick
Pepero stick.
going in.
Okay.
Boom.
Kaboom.
Kaboom.
All right,
There we go.
Let's
All right.
do it.
So here we go. Oh.
Oh, it's tasty.
Yeah, so it's basically a pretzel stick with chocolate on it.
Yeah. It's like a chocolate covered. It's not quite a pretzel because it's like more of a breadstick covered in chocolate.
Oh. You know what I should do?
What?
All right. So for the second one.
Oh, you have two of them. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I came prepared, son.
All right. I'm having two, too.
So
You're going in with the biscuit first?
yeah, let me see if the biscuit is more pretzel-y or breadsticky.
Yeah, that's breadsticky, man.
Oh, yeah, it's breadstick. Okay, so it's chocolate in a breadstick. If I'm trying to describe this right.
I think it's pretty tasty. You know what it is? It's that classic
Sweet.
salty sweet.
Yeah.
It's like a chocolate covered pretzel, except it's a little bit more bready tasting than a pretzel.
Yeah.
I
No,
can
there's
definitely
no
see that
pepper.
being. No, I don't know why it's called pepero.
Yeah, like
I don't know where pepero comes from.
I thought it would be a little spicy or something because it's called pepero.
No, it's literally just a chocolate biscuit stick. And apparently on November 11th is
Pipipero. Maybe it's pipipero. Oh wait, no, this is South Korean. This isn't Italian. Never mind.
Where
forgot.
are you,
I
Rich?
jumped around the world. I'm trying to figure out why there's no pepper in this damn thing.
That's pepero, not pepper.
I thought it was pepper.
No, pepero. I have no idea.
Yeah, so it's not peppery at all. But
No.
it's still good.
It is very good.
I'm just a little. I thought there'd be like a little spice or a little kick or something.
Like a little kick to it, right? Called pepero. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know where it comes from other than it's a day they celebrate.
And like the box. And I dropped the box. The box has like a lot of like heat colors in it. Like
it does, like yellow and red
it looks
and
like
orange.
the sun. It's got it looks like a sun gradient was used as the background. So I was expecting it to be like a little peppery or something, but it's not. But I mean, overall, yeah, it's
pretty
fine.
good. It's an inoffensive,
Right.
chocolatey, bready snack, which
Right.
is like everybody's favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we've
right.
tried the pepero. What's
next up, this is here. I'm gonna take one before I give you the box. I want you to this looks French. Read that.
Cook the ass.
Cook that. Cook the ass. Whoa, Rich, what are you saying?
I don't know. You gave
Cook
me this
the
box.
ass. Rich, Richard.
It looks like cook the ass.
Cocoon the ass.
Coo the ass. Cook the ass.
Cook the ass.
I demand you cook the ass.
So this looks French, but it's South Korean. It is a mascarpone cream cookie. March 14th is White Day.
Yay!
Oh my God. A South Korean holiday when men who received gifts on Valentine's Day return the favor. Why are these all Valentine's Day gifts?
Mike, are you trying to like tell me something here?
You pick the snacks.
I don't know. I'm just saying this is very interesting. That's Valentine's Day based.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
Oh, you know why this is a special thing? Because in most East Asian cultures, women buy sweets for their partners, not the other way around. So this is...
You hear that, Rachel?
Yeah, you hear that?
Hi. You're supposed to buy me stuff.
Yeah. Why don't guys ever get any candy on Valentine's Day? I'm calling shenanigans.
All right, so this just looks like a chocolate swirl.
Is it chocolate? Yeah, it's a mascarpone cream cookie. It's got a chocolate swirl on it. It's very crumbly.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, I think we need to eat this before it crumbles all over the board.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yep, cheers. I don't want to crumble on the board here.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just like melts in your mouth.
It tastes like
It's very like light and
yeah, it tastes like one of those Pepperidge Farm cookies.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like light. It's like light and butter kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Not bad. Which one do you like? Oh, it's Italian style cream cheese and ultra rich cream.
Cream.
It's Italian.
So why is it in the South Korean box? What the hell, Mike?
I don't know what's happening. You thought the other one was Italian, but this one actually is Italian.
Did your mom accidentally sneak this into the South Korean box?
I'm so confused.
Your mom actually opened up the box and was like, I don't like this. Take this out.
And she starts putting Italian treats in there.
Yes.
And this was
I don't
fantastic.
trust those South Koreans. I don't trust the South Koreans with
I
their
don't
snacks.
trust the South Koreans. They're too close to North Korea. Well, no, you know what I'm learning about this? We didn't do this snack, but they have in this box they have a churro snack, which is, Hispanic. They have this Italian cookie. They had the fried chicken. They have, it seems like South Korea borrows a lot from other cultures when it comes to their snack food, which I guess the U.S. does too.
Right.
But
yep.
There you go.
So there you go.
Which one do you prefer?
I don't know. They're both kind of
like
safe.
They were very safe. Yeah.
I mean,
not like the other ones we've tried.
Right. Like, don't get me wrong. They're tasty, and I would have them.
Right.
But personally, the last couple weeks, one of them usually throws my taste palate off. So I was expecting it from the Pepero.
The Pepero, right?
I thought for sure there was going to be something with the Pepero. So I'm a little disappointed that neither of them didn't.
You didn't like the ass?
You didn't cook the ass. You're supposed to cook the ass.
We didn't cook it. That's why we didn't enjoy it.
There you go. Cook the ass for Michael Costanzo. It looks like a little plaque in front of your side of the desk.
Does it? Yeah. It's like my nameplate or something.
Michael Costanzo, also known as Cook the Ass.
Cook the Ass. That's my nickname.
There you go. His nickname in circles that he doesn't want his name to be known in. Cook the Ass. But no, overall, they're both fine.
It's pretty good.
I'd
have them again.
Right.
But they don't strike me as particularly like unique or different.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Which, the last couple of weeks we've had like some interesting taste profiles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little bummed. But overall, though, they're fine.
Yeah.
Safe and fine. Okay, so there you go. That was our little side dish. But now it's time to get back into the news, and we're going to hit a couple topics in the entertainment world. So let's launch into the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, so let's go into some movies and TV and video games that you should know about this upcoming weekend with Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mike, what should people know about this weekend?
All right, well, in theaters, we have Fast 9, The Fast Saga, of course, as opposed to the Slow Saga.
Oh, dear God.
I can't even with these films anymore.
All right, so I guess here's the flip side of my previous universe.
Oh, the Fast and Furious
accolade.
universe? Yeah.
Because, I mean, while I prop up the Conjuring movies as a great universe, to watch, I guess for fans of Fast and the Furious, they love these movies, so yeah, I gotta concede. Hey,
look, 9 movies. You have a following if you're able to get to 9.
Yeah, so
right?
I guess you guys must really love Fast and Furious.
People love the Fast and the Furious, and
they love cars.
That's right, and this one's hitting theaters.
Oh boy,
this Friday,
Here
June
we go.
25th. The synopsis. Listen to this synopsis. Dom Toretto is living the quiet life off the grid with Letty and his son. but they know that danger always lurks just over the peaceful horizon. This time that threat forces Dom to confront the sins of his past to save those he loves most. His crew soon comes together to stop a world-shattering plot by the most skilled assassin and high-performance driver they've ever encountered, Dom's forsaken brother. Bum, bum, bum.
Oh my God. Literally, this movie series started off with them boosting VHS players.
Right. I didn't know when it became like saving the world with racing. I think I missed something. Also, I wanted to summarize this, but I couldn't because it drops like 4 proper noun names in like a sentence. I'm like, I don't understand this to summarize it, so I just read the synopsis. But anyway.
Look. I know. Last week, anybody that thought Rocky IV was outrageous, that he conquers communism, this is the modern day equivalent, all right?
Yes.
Rocky was just a boxer from Philadelphia, all right? And he ends up toppling the Soviet Union.
These guys like international assassin race car drivers.
Now these guys were boosting VHS and DVD players. They're now
stopping assassins.
Stopping world assassins.
I don't know. It might not be the biggest critical darling, but the Fast and Furious movies, as Rich pointed out, have always filled seats.
I gotta say, people love them.
This might be the thing to help theater chains start clawing back some of that ground that they lost to the pandemic.
People love this franchise.
They really do. But next up in TV, another franchise people love is Central Park, returning to Apple TV Plus this Friday, June 25th. The musical adult animated comedy from the creators of Bob's Burgers follows the park manager and his family as they attempt to stop a wealthy property owner from buying the park and filling it with more luxury condos. The show has been a surprise hit for Apple TV Plus, garnering positive reviews and some awards nominations, enough so that Apple has already renewed it for a 3rd season. With catchy, irreverent songs, heartwarming family moments, absurd storylines, and a star-studded cast featuring actors and actresses from Hamilton, alongside Kristen Bell, Stanley Tucci, and Titus Burgess. This show has something for everyone. I love it. I strongly recommend it. I've watched it twice. My girlfriend loves it as well. You definitely got to go check out Central Park on Apple TV Plus if you have it. And that's what I'm looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, Mike, thank you for that segment. This week in entertainment. All right. Now we're going to jump to some news with Netflix and Steven Spielberg announcing a unique partnership. You got more on the details there, Mike?
Yeah, so in the past, Steven Spielberg has been critical of Netflix, often trying to draw a line between theatrical movies and streaming movies, trying to recategorize them like movies on streaming are different somehow. He's been critical of streaming services. He's often lamented the dissolution of the traditional theater-going experience. But now it's coming out that Spielberg and his production company, Amblin Entertainment, are signing a deal with Netflix to create 2 films per year for an unspecified number of years, with the potential for Spielberg to direct some of them. This is pretty big news. I mean, Steven Spielberg is, one of the best, one of the most known, and so for Netflix to get Amblin Entertainment to develop multiple movies a year, Spielberg attached to some of them, that's a really big get for Netflix, and sort of, an implicit admission on Spielberg's part that, streaming is okay now. What a big shift.
Yeah, it is.
It's a titanic shift,
It's, unfortunately, you have to go wherever, wherever people are paying you are willing to go,
So do you see this as, the lesser of two evils, or sleeping with the devil? I mean, what is this?
I think Spielberg has to, he had to realize that if he wanted to still stay relevant here, in the 2020s, he's got to focus some of his energies on streaming services.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of the, out of the coronavirus year, people still aren't, ready to go back to the movie theater just yet.
I mean, I was just there, and Quiet Place 2 has been out 2-3 weeks. There were 8 people in the theater.
Yeah.
So it's coming back, but it's still not drawing the crowds. So if you want an outlet for your work as a creative in film, streaming is where it's at right now. And, I said earlier, I love going to the theater, but I also like staying in and being able to watch what I want, when I want, where I want.
Yeah.
So
I think he had to eat crow a little bit there.
Yeah. I think so too. I hope this I hope this changes the perspective of Hollywood. Hollywood is all about stroking themselves, man. They really do. And so anything that takes them down a peg, I think is good in my mind, because then we don't run into issues like Nolan and Tenet.
Yeah.
You know, we don't run into issues like that. If everyone
Nolan would be, if that ever happens with Nolan, he's going to have a lot of humble pie to eat.
Oh yeah, big heaping servings of it. I mean, Steven Spielberg is already that's a pretty big, humble pie serving, but Christopher Nolan would be like a dump truck of it.
Yeah. He's going to have a lot to munch on.
I don't think he ever would. And you know what? I get it. And we've had this conversation before that there's some movies that play better on a big screen. I don't think anything's off limits on the small screen, though.
Right.
Like I watched Tenet on the television, and I'm like, would this have been any better or worse on the big screen? Probably not.
Yeah, maybe some of the sound effects, but I mean, it's nothing.
Get a sound bar and some subs.
That's kind of the sad part is like.
See, they make TVs up to 90 inches now. Like you can have the theater experience,
right? Or you can get a projector. Like there are options that you can recreate the experience at home.
And like I just said earlier, I love going to the theater, but it's not the end of days if your film has to premiere on streaming, like Christopher Nolan and Steven Spielberg previously made it out to be.
Right. So interesting news bulletin from Spielberg. I wonder if there'll be other directors, Nolan, that might. Follow suit with this development.
Yeah. Spielberg's a big domino to fall, so we'll see.
Yep. All right, now we're going to get into another element of streaming that I want to talk about. I saw this 2 weeks ago when it first came out. Me and Rachel watched it. We took a Sunday and watched it, and we just fell in love with this special. Mike recently just watched it. So we are right now going to talk about Bo Burnham's Inside, which is a Netflix special. So there may be some spoilers if you haven't seen it.
It's a spoiler! Ooh, it's a spoiler! Don't listen! Go away!
I really just wanted to play that sound effect again.
I know you did.
That's one of my favorite sound effects. But nevertheless, let's jump into this special. Because when I first reviewed it, I tried to be as non-spoiler as I could, but this is a tough special to describe, and I think it speaks so much to our generation and younger that's coming through some of the craziest times that the world has seen. This special by Bo Burnham, Inside, it's part documentary, it's part stand-up, it's part musical, it's part psychotherapy. It's all over the place.
So when I finished this film, I found myself thinking more than laughing because it's almost like an abstract performance art piece.
Yes.
Like, I think it's somewhat of a disservice to call it a comedy special because I think people are going into it expecting to like laugh, and at the end I was like, that was kind of dark at times, and like I think actually a really important piece of art. And I mean, it's getting rave critical reviews for just that aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's not to say it wasn't funny, but like there's definitely like another element that I was not prepared for. Mm-hmm. Like watching that film, I was like, whoa, like I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like it's a very intimate look into how I feel like a lot of people probably secretly dealt with and felt during the pandemic. Yeah. Right? Because it's just him in a room.
The whole time.
Just him in a room, just sort of like, as my girlfriend described it, like watching a mental breakdown on film.
Yeah.
It's it's like really chilling at times, and like it really makes you like think and reflect, and like it covers so many important topics that happened recently. It's like, whoa. And like Bo Burnham, just a moment to say, man, so talented.
Yeah. He literally created all the songs himself, shot the whole thing himself,
but like
did all the lighting, did all the editing.
Even the concept of it.
Yeah.
And like editing it and stringing it together in a way that like sort of wove a kind of disorienting, authentic, awkwardly intimate portrayal of life during the pandemic. I mean, it's like it's another level.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like other things that you would see when you watch a comedy special on Netflix.
It's fascinating to watch that and then kind of think of your own experience when COVID was really at its height of the pandemic last year in 2020.
Yeah.
You know, between all the stay-at-home orders, and we didn't know who, you know, how bad truly was this disease. You know, was it, you know, how deadly was it going to be? You know, did you have to stay inside? Did you have to, you know, how serious was the implications of this virus? And I think when you see the special, and it gets to like the later stages, and he's really dealing with, like, you know, all the fallout from the fact that he can't do, you know, he can't be as creative, or he can't express his creativity anymore. Yeah, it is part mental breakdown. It's part documentary. It's all over the place, and in a good way. It's just you're just compelled to watch every minute of that, and you're just like, I can't believe, like, this is what he spent, you know, his time doing, and he does it to perfection almost.
Yeah, and when we say part mental breakdown, we don't mean that in a negative way. Like, it's insightful,
right?
You know what I mean?
Because I think at some point we all had a mental breakdown in 2020.
And I think people are continuing to feel those things. You know, it hasn't really lifted that weight off of some people. People deal with that stuff regardless of the pandemic. So I think it's just an important piece when it comes to mental health in general. And like you said, our generation, like, I kind of see this as a time capsule piece where, within the context of the past year and a half, and in the context of our generation specifically, like, it really speaks volumes to a mindset and a culture. And I also wonder now, if reviewing this 20, 30 years down the line, if it will have the same impact, or will it be viewed as, you know, very niche for its time?
Yeah.
It's very interesting in that it's so relevant right now that maybe it will be something to look back on and, you know, kind of understand the full breadth and depth of the situation at the time. Like, it could go one of two ways. It could be like a time capsule, or it could be something that becomes, you know, so timely that it becomes no longer relevant.
Yeah, it may end up being that way. But for right now, I think it's a great piece of art. It is a time capsule to look back on how crazy 2020 truly was. Yeah, it's all over the place, and it's fantastic.
I loved every second of it. Like, even the moments that were, like, dark and uncomfortable, like, they're important, you know. And at the end, it's not fully dark, and it doesn't end on a bad note. It ends on a, you know, somewhat uplifting note, which I think was important. You know, he smiles.
Yeah.
The spoiler alert. You know, it's like
that's a spoiler.
No, I mean, seriously. At the end of all things, like, he like watches, right? Because the last scene is him reviewing it.
Yeah.
And he, like, gives that half smile, and it's like, sort of like, okay, it's going to be okay, which I think is important for people to hear.
Yeah.
And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said piece of art, because it's not just a comedy special.
No.
Right?
No.
It's like
it's all over the place.
I went in thinking I'm going to hear some funny, because Bo Burnham did one of my favorite sketches previously with the country song.
Yeah.
Right? He did that one, right?
Or
the generic generic country song. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, this is going to be great. He's a funny guy, musical. I love it. And I go in, and, you know, I'm digging it, and I'm like, then it starts to get serious. I'm like, oh, this is something more.
Yeah.
You know? However, it is still funny.
Yes.
It's still very funny.
Yes.
I'm making it sound very dire, but it is still very funny.
Yes. I love the white woman's Instagram song.
Oh my God. It was perfect. It was and also the humor is so spot on.
Yeah. I can't believe he took the time to actually recreate everything that he talked about in that song that falls on a white woman's Instagram.
Yep.
Like, he literally did everything to a T, with, like, the lollipop and the gum, bubble gum bursting, and the I love the one where he's, like, half naked, and, like, you know, the one you're holding your boob up. Oh yeah.
Where you're holding your boob
yeah,
up.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, he did the thing where, like you're doing, you lay on your
Oh,
side
yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so proud. Like it's so true. There's always something like that. Yeah.
I
to a T. It was perfect.
I personally liked and you showed this to me on Spotify. Welcome to the Internet.
Yeah. That went viral.
That is yeah, it's being used on. I've seen it on a few TikTok videos, and like you said, going viral. It's everywhere. I mean, it perfectly sums up like the culture and the nature of the internet, and it's funny too. There's definitely lots of great laughs throughout the special.
Yeah,
it's not all doom and gloom.
No, but nevertheless, it is a fantastic Netflix special, and one I think that's going to resonate with our generation and. Probably the generation younger than us. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. It is well worth your time. Okay, with that, it's time to get to the third and final portion of the show. We got to get into some more wackiness with the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Manda bastards. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders, go to the bathroom, because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo! Odd news.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird, wacky story, keeps it hidden from me, which means that all my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because this segment always takes us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Rich, where are we heading to?
All right, it's time to go back home. Go back to Florida.
Gotta go back.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Oh, yeah. Good old Florida. Can't go wrong.
All right.
So this may be the whole story, but I'm just going to read it as it is. A 21-year-old Florida woman who was seen naked from the waist down told a cop that it was completely fine that she can do that.
Something just came over me, and I took my clothes off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason why, I assume? Or she just wanted to be naked?
So, responding to a Circle K gas station at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, man, you know you're in for a good time. Circle K at 1:30?
Oh, yeah, she's having some fun.
Something just came over me, and I took my clothes off.
Cops were called to, quote, a disturbance with a naked woman in public.
Okay.
This happened Thursday at 1:30 in the morning, so not even the weekend.
Oh, man, this is a real good one.
Yeah. Police found 21-year-old Kendall Mabry without any pants or underwear inside the Circle K convenience store in Umatilla, which is a city 45 miles from Orlando. A Circle K clerk and the sheriff's deputies both reported seeing Mabry emerge into the store without any pants or underwear on. So, just here I am. Just no pants.
Why not?
No pants or underwear. When asked from the deputy why she was naked, Mabry said that, quote, another cop told her that it's perfectly fine that she goes naked.
Something just came over me, and I took my clothes off.
Boy,
I don't think I don't think that's what happened.
Yes, another person, another deputy.
Well, the other cop told me I could do it.
There you go. Case closed.
Case closed. I mean, you have to think in her mind, she was probably like, "This is foolproof. What's the cop going to say? No, the other cop's lying. I'm lying.
You're gonna challenge the other.
You're gonna challenge the authority of the other cop.
Yeah,
right. She's like, this is a foolproof plan.
So, unfortunately, the cop did not believe her.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Are you kidding me?
With that sound logic,
man,
I bet you.
That guy has no respect for his fellow deputies.
If I was the deputy, I would have asked which deputy told you.
Did you get a written permission form?
Or I wonder if she went like, deputy told me.
Yeah.
Deputy
pull the old Seinfeld.
Yeah, the Flivlin. Deputy Flivlin.
And then the other guy's like, Deputy Flivlin, of course.
Oh, I gotta call him up, that bastard.
It's like actually a real guy.
Yeah. Deputy Flivlin. So that's when the deputy decided to put her in cuffs, and that's when he noted that she smelled of alcohol and marijuana. So she's having some fun.
Something just came over me, and I took my clothes off.
I mean, Circle K at 1:30 in the morning on a Thursday. What did you think she was going to smell of? Right?
Yep. So she was arrested for disorderly intoxication and booked into the county jail.
Okay.
She was released on $500 bond, but she's going to fight it.
Of course she is.
She's going to fight it.
Because the other deputy told her it was okay, Rich.
Yeah.
I am the law. The evidence has been falsified.
She is the law. She got permission from the law.
You betray the law.
That deputy is betraying the law.
You betray the law.
I want Stallone to defend her in court now. Just that.
Stallone was the other deputy.
Yeah, Deputy Stallone.
The evidence has been falsified.
That's his opening argument. The evidence has been falsified.
The evidence has been falsified.
The judge is like, "You're right. Case dismissed."
Wow, that was a quick case there.
It's over in like 30 seconds. All rise, all leave.
There you go. Just throw this out. But no, this is true. Mabry is pleading not guilty,
of course,
to the misdemeanor count, and she is sticking by the story that another deputy told her that it was okay that she could go naked to the Circle K.
Man, I would love for nothing more than to have an update to the story where an actual cop was like, "Yeah, fine, whatever."
Yep. By the way, there's her mugshot. That's the lady in question. That's 21-year-old Kendall Mabry.
Okay.
And she's a brave woman. She's gonna fight it.
She's a brave woman.
I mean, how do you?
She's fighting the good fight right there, man.
I mean, look, if you're really serious about this, that you're gonna take this to court and you're gonna fight this and put in a not guilty plea,
right?
Wouldn't you at least have the deputy's name? You gotta have something else besides the deputy told me I can do it.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But she's not. she's going into this with
naked.
Literally naked. She's going into this naked. So that is the 21-year-old right there.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of dicey.
Yeah. You got to at least have the deputy's name.
Got to have something.
You got to at least come up with...
At least get like a slip of paper and like forge a signature. Like try and you got to do something.
Do the Ron Swanson thing where like he just writes, "I have permission to do this."
Yeah.
Like something.
Right. Exactly.
Or maybe like Photoshop like a weird Florida cop memo. I don't know. Maybe something like that.
Maybe. Otherwise, what's she going to
Bulletin.
She's going to get there and be like, the cop said it was okay.
Bulletin from the Florida Police
desk
Department?
of Florida Police.
Umatilla.
Umatilla.
Yeah. The memo from the Umatilla Police Department. All women can now be without pants. Signed, Deputy... Has to spell that out, too.
That's a tough one to spell.
Flegegegha. N.
N.
With an N. Somewhere there's an N.
Oh, my God.
There you go. I don't know what she's thinking, but she's going to try and fight this. Brave woman. She's committed.
She is.
She's committed. She has the alibi. She's going to run with it.
I think she's got a good shot. I mean, the other cop told her it was okay. I mean, that's pretty rock solid right there.
Yep. Good old Captain. So there you go. That's what I have this week for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Also at a Circle K. Ooh,
yeah.
That is
When you said Circle K at 1:30 in the morning, I was like, oh, man.
That is not really the gas station of choice that I would want to be nude in.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be nude at any gas station. Especially not one in Circle K in the middle of the night in rural Florida.
Yeah. That sounds dicey.
Yeah. I just looked up this Umatilla. It's like in the middle of the swamp. It's got a population of 3,000 people.
There's more alligators than people
They said most of the landmass is water, I think.
Yeah, not the ideal spot to go naked, I think.
No. Certainly not a Circle K.
Yeah, come on. You're in Florida. There's a couple Wawas down there. Make it to a Wawa.
Oh, my God.
You can at least get a hoagie before you get arrested.
Yeah, right? Get some good food, yeah.
Yeah, something. But there you go. That's what I have for you this week with the non-fortune cookie odd news. Crazy but true story there. Oh, man. And just like that, we are approaching our mark to start wrapping up the show. Man, good times, man. Having some fun going over news and entertainment and stuff that we reviewed. But unfortunately, we got to start wrapping this week's episode up. Thank you guys for tuning in on another crazy episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole shebang.
That's right. In addition to the whole shebang, make sure to subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on YouTube, where you can get video versions of the podcast every week. But you can still get the audio version of the podcast as well by subscribing to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Amazon devices. So make sure you search for, download, and subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on either YouTube or the podcast service of your choice.
That's right. We also have a SoundCloud page where we have the mini noodles, the best bits of the show, shrunk down into a quick minute promo clip that you can easily listen to with friends and family. The craziness that is the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
That's right. You can also get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. You can find us on Twitter and let us know what's happening. You can send us any topic, and we'll take it under consideration. If it's an odd news topic, send it my way. And yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about on next week's episode, and we'll give you a crispy noodle shout out if we do so. So, you know, well, that's the best we can do. Unfortunately, we can't send you pepperoni snacks or anything like
the
that.
ass, the cooked ass,
or the cooked the ass. Yeah, sorry.
No, we can't do that. That's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal
to send them ass. Yeah.
Wow, it's illegal now. Uh-oh. The cook the ass is illegal.
You can't just send people ass over the internet, Rich.
But it's cook the ass.
It's cooked. That makes it different.
Yeah.
Of course.
That makes a difference.
Makes it better.
Yeah. And this weird logic here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. So, there you go. The sports sampler, the side dish, the entertainment entree, non-fortune cookie odd news, the perfect meal for your mind here on the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the Crispy Noodle. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. I think that will do it. Anything else, Mike?
No, I'm good. Everybody have a good one.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.